In the sands of old Arabia, the Bedouins, have stored their grain and brought in their stock. In a few months' time, these truest of nomads will break camp and travel hundreds of kilometres feeding their herds. But for now, they'll stay put. The desert winter has set in. For nurse Aileen Coleman from Bundaberg in Queensland and Dr. Elnor Salto from Illinois, USA, a long way from home, it's also a perfect time to tend their flock, as they've done here in southern Jordan for the last 40 years.
This is the sister of Fatmi.
The Bedouins refer to these two irrepressibles, 67 and 80 respectively, as Arubia, everything for the Arabs.
This is her sister.
And it's not just local calls they make. During the year, they'll travel throughout Jordan treating their nomad patients.
Hello. You better test his chest. You're the specialist. I just play.
Behind the banter, it's serious doctor and nurse business. Like most Bedou, Abu Saud is a chronic smoker.
He's got cancer, this man, which is sad.
He's got a big mass here, which I don't think is that he's had it for years. But then I found on X-ray, found this mass in this, and I sent him in, and they wanted to operate, and he refused. كم سيجارة يوميا هذا؟
40 سيجارة.
ايه يا ابوي يا عمي عم بتموت حالك؟ يا اختي سوي هالعملية قبل ما تكبر أكثر.
بعد رمضان
وبعدين بصير مشكلة مزبوط. شايفة كيف؟ ومش عملية.
It looks like Abu Saud's daughter, Fatima, will be luckier. They've caught her thyroid condition in time.
عشان إذا ما تسوي يكبر هذا وبعدين بصير أوديكي أنا لمستشفى أميرة حياة. ها؟
Okay.
You'd have to say that 40 years of Arabic has done little to dampen a laconic sense of humour.
أوديكي وقولي دكتور يا دكتور اذبحها من هون. ها؟
Okay. Okay. أيوة.
This is home. I mean, I was 25 when I left Australia. I remember when I first came out, my father couldn't handle it at all. He said, "What do you want to go out there for? You know, those wild Arabs."
She's the expert in the language. I got mad at her because she came a year later, and within a year was way ahead of me.
Alhamdulillah. 58 كيلو.
If their laughter's infectious, it was infection of a nastier kind that brought these two together. The Bedouins are riddled with TB, the debilitating ailment their clinic is mainly set up to treat.
Malnutrition helps to weaken their resistance so that when they get a bad cold, most of the people here have tuberculous bacilli in their blood. And if their resistance is lowered by flu, another disease, they can get TB. But one of the problems is the whole family sleeps together under one quilt. And you've got one patient with TB, you've got the whole family.
I was born in Korea and lived there all my childhood, went to school there. And then I got a terrible tragedy in my life. I got tuberculosis. I had 2/3 of a lung removed and got well. And then I heard that there was a TB hospital in Bethlehem. And that's how I got out there.
These wadis, dry river valleys, have been populated by Bedou clans for centuries. But times change, and these days there are only about 40,000 of them left in the entire region, and their numbers are dwindling. The lifestyle here is as harsh as the scenery is breathtaking.
These are Emil's brothers.
All right. Oh, look. The pandemonium is all about baby Amal. Today is a special day. She's being reunited with her family. One of twins, Amal was too weak at birth to survive the Bedouin world. For 15 months, Amal's been raised by Eleanor and Aileen away from the family tent. Her mother, Nora, hasn't seen her baby girl for more than a year.
اسمع لما بكون طقس ربيع بنجيبها. Come on, Emma.
You could be forgiven for thinking that Aileen and Eleanor are consigning baby Amal to an early grave. But it really is a case of listen and you'll learn.
Well, yes, but see, it's funny. The grandmother was here, and nobody else has gotten it in the family. We've checked them all.
Every now and then you'll get a family like this that have got a natural resistance.
Culture shock for her.
For her. But they adjust
Do they?
so well. And then we come and see them. They're as filthy as a sister. But she'll be happy. Just as happy.
Wadi Rum is legendary Lawrence of Arabia territory. The inspiration for the book and the location of the actual 7 Pillars of Wisdom. For 50 years, the Valley of the Moon, as the Bedouins call it, has also been home for Abu Hussein. Hussein is as intrinsic a part of the nomad legend as his surrounds are a part of history. But the need to contend with the modern outside world, at least for his children, will soon see Abu Hussein leave his beloved lifestyle behind. After 50 years out in the desert, he's moved his family into town. The transition is a curious mix of his 2 worlds. These days, the sheep, the goats, camels, and the House of Hair tent are all in the backyard. Soon, Abu Hussein's herd of camels will be gone, sold to pay for his land cruisers. The costs of schooling and housing have turned the nomad into a businessman. Abu Hussein is now a tourist operator, and his desert the domain of foreigners. One constant in the Bedouin world is its ethereal beauty.
It's always different. Every time of the day you come, it's different.
It's different each hour of the day.
If it has some of the best views in the world, southern Jordan is also home to some of its best hospitality. A Bedouin tradition that survived.
Wherever you go with the Bedouins, you can stay for 3 days in a Bedouin tent without them ever asking why you're here. And they'll treat you with the very best they have. Wendomatic. It's coming.
Next morning, it's medical business as usual, with Bedouin generosity not so much returned as dispensed.
شوف يا خيتي من هذول هلا بدك تشربي حبة واحدة 4 مرات في النهار.
Goodwill and patience are the order of the day. This Bedouin mother and son are both illiterate. The prescription will have to be committed to memory.
4 مرات اليوم، هذا 3 مرات اليوم.
مزبوط مزبوط بالضبط.
شايفه؟
ايوه مسجل تنتين.
ثنتين.
ايوه هذا واحدة.
This is where we found the need when we first came, and the need has always been there. We've never been able to leave it.
And the people have accepted us so wonderfully that they make us feel part of them. I'm sorry to say, I think 2 more generations, you'll have to really search to find some real Bedouins. I'm sorry about that.